Good morning, children. Welcome back to English class. We have completed Act 1, that is all the three scenes. We have completed the notes also. I hope you have written all the notes and studied and revised the first act. Okay. Now, today, I'll take the Act 2, that is Act 2, Scene 1. Act 2, Scene 1 takes place in Portia's house. That is a room in Portia's house. And here, the Prince of Morocco, one of the suitors, is introduced in this scene. And if we tell about him, he is a very proud and self-respecting. And you know, he is from Morocco. And you know that Morocco is an African country. So he has a dark complexion and he is conscious of it. And we come to know about his character from his speech. You know what he does? He boasts that he possesses a lot of physical strength and courage. The scene also gives sufficient information about the casket trial. Now, Portia, who does not want to marry such a suitor, warns him that if he fails to choose the casket, he will have to lead a life of celibacy all his life. That means he cannot or he will not be able to marry any other woman. Okay, this is what Portia tells him. Okay, so this is the scene where Morocco comes to choose the casket, and this takes place in a room in Portia's house. Okay, so you can see the Portia's mansion. Okay, and see the Prince of Morocco comes to Portia's mansion for the choice of caskets. Okay, now look into the textbook, or if you don't have the text, please look onto the screen. Okay, scene 1, Belmont, a room in Portia's house. Flourish of cornets, enter the Prince of Morocco and his train, that means, and his followers, or his attendants, you can say. Portia, Nerissa, and others attending. So where does the scene take place? Act 2, Scene 1 takes place in a room in Portia's house in Belmont. Who all are present there? Prince of Morocco, his attendants, Portia, Nerissa, and Portia's attendants are present there at this time. Morocco. Mislike me not for my complexion, the shadowy livery of the burnished sun, to whom I am neighbor and near bred. So Morocco starts the conversation. So he first tells that, please don't mislike me, do not dislike me for my complexion. What is his complexion? What is his skin color? Dark. he is from an African country. So here, Morocco, the name is given for him also, Prince of Morocco. So in the dialogue, it's given Morocco. Okay, that means Prince of Morocco. So he has a dark complexion. So he asked Portia not to dislike him because of his dark color. Then he tells how he got this dark color, the shadowy livery of the burnished sun. So this is a shadowy livery. That is, shadowed means dark, dark, and livery, uniform. Livery uniform of the burnished sun. So this is the dark uniform of those people who are exposed to the burning sun. You know that the countries near to the equator, the people who are living near to the equator, okay, they are dark colored, because we know that the sun rays falls, yes, straight, directly, okay, not slantingly but directly. So that's why the people have dark complexion. So that's why he says why he has this, or what is the reason for his dark complexion. The shadowy, this dark uniform is because of the exposure to the sun. Okay, the shadowy livery of the burnished sun, to whom I am a neighbor and near bred. And so he says that he is a close relative or a neighbor to the sun. That means he is in a country that is near to the sun. That means near to the equator, okay, where the sun rays fall directly. Okay, bring me the fairest creature northward born, where Phoebus fire scarce thaws icicles, and let us make incision for your love, to prove whose blood is reddest, his or mine. Okay, so here Prince of Morocco tells that this, bring me the fairest creature. That means bring me. He asks Portia to bring him the most fair person, the fairest man born in the north. Okay, the fairest man born in north. Okay, so where, what kind of a place is that? Where Phoebus fire scarce thaws the icicles. So Phoebus, that is the name of the sun god Apollo. Okay, Phoebus. So here it means the sun. Okay, Phoebus is another name for the sun god Apollo. Where Phoebus fire scarce thaws the icicles. So see, the fair person who is from the north, and what kind of a place is that? There sunlight falls slantingly, or they get very less. So there they don't get the heat of the sun, and that is even hardly enough to melt the icicles. Okay, the icicles, that means the long pointed spike of ice. So even the ice won't melt. You know that if we take the ice out, it starts melting. But here he says that the northern countries, they won't get the heat of the sun, even not enough to melt the ice. And let us make incision for your love. So he says that in order to prove or in order to win the love of Portia, they can make and let us, that means one person from the north and Prince Morocco can make incision for your love. To win the love of Portia, they can have or they can make incision. That means to have a cut on the arm. That means to make or to have a bloodletting. For what? To prove whose blood is reddest, so that when the bloodletting is done, it will prove whose blood is reddest. So the reddest blood, that means it shows courage. So that's why he says he is sure, Prince of Morocco is sure that his blood will be the reddest. So he says to prove whose blood is reddest, his or mine, the blood of the person who comes from the north, or Prince of Morocco who came from Morocco. Okay. I tell thee, lady, this aspect of mine hath feared the valiant. By my love, I swear, the best regarded virgins of our clime have loved it too. I would not change this hue, except to steal your thoughts, my gentle queen. So he tells that I tell thee, lady, this aspect of mine. So he tells that, see, this appearance of mine, or he says that his outer appearance, his outer appearance or his gigantic appearance or form, he is very tall and stout. Okay, so this appearance hath feared the valiant, hath frightened even the bravest men of his country. That's what he tells. This aspect of mind here, this aspect of mind means this appearance of mind. That means his outer appearance has frightened the bravest men. By my love, I swear. Okay. So he says that he swear. Uh, my lady, my love here, my lady, that is, he is addressing Portia. I swear this appearance of mine has frightened, okay, the bravest and then the best regarded virgins of a clime. And now I swear the best regarded virgins of our clime have loved it too. And what about the ladies of his country? And see, the ladies, okay, the beautiful ladies of his country love his appearance. They all love his appearance. That's what he tells Portia. So the men are afraid of his appearance. On the other hand, the ladies, the beautiful ladies, love his appearance. I would not change this hue. So he says that I would not change this hue. He says he would not change this hue. Hue means color. He would not change his color except to steal your thoughts, my gentle queen. So except to steal your thoughts. Here, steal your thoughts means to win her love. So Prince Morocco says that he doesn't want to change his color, and he would not change his color unless he were to gain Portia's love. Okay, so I would not change this hue because he's proud of his color. Okay, I would not change this hue except to steal your thoughts, my gentle queen. Okay, so one or two questions can be asked from this part. Okay, so what does Morocco, Prince of Morocco, tell about his color and how he got this dark complexion, and what is he ready to do in order to win Portia's love? So he says that he is ready for an incision, that means bloodletting, to show that his blood is the reddest. The reddest blood means, that means it shows courage. Okay. See the next part. In terms of choice, I'm not solely led by nice direction of a maiden's eyes. Besides, the lottery of my destiny bars me the right of voluntary choosing. But if my father had not scanted me and hedged me by his wit to yield myself, his wife who wins me by that means, I told you, yourself, renowned prince, then stood as fair as any comer I have looked on it for my affection. So now Portia replies to what Morocco has just told now. So Portia tells, in terms of choice, I'm not solely led by nice direction of a maiden's eyes. So she tells that as far as Portia, she is concerned, okay, she is not solely led by the beautiful, attractive appearance which makes a lady happy. Okay, see, you know that girls always love to be beautiful, and okay, everybody likes a beautiful appearance, is it? Yes. So first, when you look at a person, if they have a beautiful appearance, you think that, oh, she or he is a good person. Okay, but we have learned that yes, appearances are deceptive always. It does not, or it's not like that. Okay, so so Portia says that, okay, she does not, or she is not like other ladies who judge people by the outer appearance. So she does not, or solely, or she is not led solely by the outer appearance that usually pleaseth ladies. Besides, in addition to that, okay, besides, another reason, the lottery of my destiny bars me the right of voluntary choosing. The lottery of my destiny. Okay, so this lottery of her destiny, what does it do? It just bars me. That means prevents or prohibits. It prohibits me, Portia. It prohibits Portia the right of voluntary choosing. That means she does not have any right to choose the person whom she likes. We have learned that in the second scene, Act 1, Scene 2, she looks so worried, and the reason is that she has no right to choose a person whom he likes and reject a person whom she dislikes. She has to go by the lottery of casket, whether it is an old man or a cruel man or an ugly man. She has to marry the person who chooses the right casket. So she tells that it bars me the right of voluntary choosing. So it prohibits her the right of choosing the person whom she likes. But if my father had not scanted me, so she wished that if her father had not curtailed her or scanted her of what? Scanted her of Scanted her and hedged me by his wit. Okay, so hedged here, hedged means, okay, her freedom is limited or bound. Bound by what? By his wit. That means she has no freedom. Her father had scanted her and hedged her, bound her, and okay, prohibited her to choose according to her will and wish, and urged me of by his will to yield myself. So she has to yield herself to what? His wife who wins me, that means I told you. So Portia has to yield herself. That means she has to obey her father's will and takes the person as her husband. Okay, take that person who wins the lottery of casket as her husband, to yield myself, his wife who wins me by that means. Wins me by that means through the device of lottery of casket. She cannot, or she will not be able to get a husband by any other means, or she's not, or she should not. That's what her father's will is. His wife who wins, that means she should be the wife of the person who wins the lottery of casket. Yourself. Now she tells to Morocco, Prince of Morocco, yourself, see, as far as you are concerned, renowned prince, you are a famous prince, then stood as fair as any comer. Okay, so she tells that he has a, or this renowned prince, this famous prince of Morocco, has any chance as other prince. Okay, any other prince to try the lottery of casket. Okay, so she says that she does not have any discrimination towards this prince of Morocco who has the dark complexion. So she says, okay, as any other candidate who is going to come for this lottery of casket, Prince of Morocco also has the chance. Okay, or she tells that according to Portia, he has a high esteem. Okay, Morocco. Even for that, I thank you. Therefore, I pray you, lead me to the casket. So Morocco is so grateful to her uh, that Portia talks pleasingly to him. Okay, she is very hospitable, and that means she shows hospitality towards Morocco, and then she does not show any hatred. Okay, and so Morocco thanks her. Even for that, I thank you. Therefore, I pray you, lead me to the casket. So he is very eager to do his choice. Okay, or he is eager to choose the uh, casket. Therefore, I pray you, lead me to the caskets to try my fortune by this scimitar. By this scimitar. So he has a sword with him. Okay, so that is a curved, short sword that that Prince of Morocco has with him. So touching that or taking that scimitar, and he says that by this scimitar that slew the Sufi and Persian prince. So this, with this scimitar he had slain, okay, or he had killed the Sufi. Here Sufi means the Shah, okay, the official head, the Shah of Persia, the Sufi, and a Persian prince, and that Persian prince who had won 3 fields of Sultan Suleiman. So that Persian prince, he had won 3 battles against the Sultan Suleiman. Okay, so these 2 people he had, uh, he had killed the Shah of Persia and a Persian prince. Okay, so here he is very proud of his uh, he is very proud of himself. Okay, so by the scimitar that slew the Sophie and a Persian prince, that won 3 fields of Sultan Solomon. That means he has won 3. This Persian prince has won 3 battles against the Sultan of Solomon. So how he boasts himself. Now you can see that he is an egoist and he boasts himself and tells about his achievements. Okay, I would outstare the sternest eyes that look, outbrave the heart most daring on the earth. So he says that in order to win Portia, he is ready to outstare, he is ready to challenge the bravest man on earth. I would outstare the sternest eye that look, outbrave the heart most daring on earth. The most daring on earth, that is the bravest man on earth. So he says he is ready to challenge the bravest man on the earth. Then what else he is ready to do? Pluck the young sucking cubs from the she bear. Now he says that he is ready to, or he can take away, snatch away the young sucking cubs, that is the young ones from a she bear. You know that when see, even if you have dogs, or you know that a mother dog, if anyone goes near a mother dog with the puppies, it will be very angry. It thinks that somebody is coming to take my puppy, or things like that. So the mother dog, okay, will be very angry like that. The lion, the lioness, the she bear, they will be very angry when they have the cubs near them. So they think that the enemies are, or some are coming to take the young ones. So it will be very ferocious and it may attack the the people. Okay, so but Morocco says that in such a condition he is ready to snatch away the sucking cubs from the she bear. A mock the lion when he rose for prey. And then what else he can do? And challenge the lion when he rose for prey. When the lion is very hungry, hungry lion will be angry. Yes. So he is ready to challenge the lion when he rose for his food. Okay, when he is running for its prey, and to win the all for, or he is ready to do all this just to win Lady Portia. Okay, so what does Prince Morocco tell he's ready to do to win Portia? He tells that he can, or he's ready to challenge the bravest man on this earth. Secondly, he can snatch the young sucking cubs from the she bear and challenge the lion when he is roaring for its prey. If Hercules and Lichas play at dice, which is the better man, the greater throw may turn by fortune from the weaker hand. So is Alcides beaten by his page, and so may I, blind fortune, leading me, miss that which one unworthier may attain and die with grieving. Now he tells, but alas, now he gives out a big sigh. Ah, alas, the while if Hercules and Lichas play at dice. Now he gives an example. Okay, sometimes the unworthy people may get or may win the lottery of casket. He is a worthy person. Sometimes he may not win. So that's what he tells an example. Uh, if Hercules and Lichas, okay, you know who is Hercules? He is the bravest and strongest man, and we have come across this mythological figure before. Is it? Yes, Alcides. But alas, the while, if Hercules and Lichas is his servant of Hercules, play at dice. So when one day they were playing the game of dice, Hercules and his servant Lichas, which is the better man, the greater throw may turn by fortune from the weaker hand. You know what happened? Okay, Hercules is very good in that game, but uh, one day what happened is that the the winning throw came from the weaker man, that is the servant. Okay, that means the servant won the game. The greater throw, that is the winning throw, the winning throw may turn by fortune from the weaker hand. Sometimes it may happen like that. So is Alcides beaten by his page. So what happened? Great Alcides, the strongest, the bravest Hercules, was beaten by his servant. And so may I. And so see, this is a chance, like, so sometimes I may be defeated, or okay, so uh, he is in a doubt whether he will have a good fortune. And so may I, blind fortune leading me. Okay, see, in Shakespeare's plays you may find that the fortune is a goddess. According to him, this goddess of fortune is always blindfolded, covered. The eyes are covered and blindfolded, and okay, and she will not see whom she is giving the blessings and curse. Okay, that means sometimes we may think, oh, this that unworthy person got it. Okay, for you know why all this happens. According to Shakespeare, this goddess of fortune is blindfolded. So so he tells, blind fortune leading me, miss that which one unworthier may attain. So he says that sometimes, okay, a person who is less worthy than him may win and die with grieving. And so what will happen then? He may die with grieving, that is a verb, and he may die with grief, noun form, grief, grief, grieving, grieve, verb, grief, noun. And so he may die with grief. Now Portia, you must take your chance. Okay, so Portia says, see, you must take your chance and either not attempt to choose at all. That means she wants him to decide now, or either he has to take a stance, or neither take a stance nor choose at all. Okay, and either not attempt to choose at all, or swear before you choose. If you choose wrong, never to speak to a lady afterward in way of marriage. Therefore, be advised. So this is a warning that Portia gives him. She tells him that he must make his effort to choose the right casket, or he has to swear that if he makes a wrong choice, if he chooses a wrong casket, never to speak to a lady afterwards. That means he is failed. Okay, he failed in the lottery of casket if he chooses the wrong casket. Then what is the consequence? He will never speak to a lady afterward. He has no right to speak to a lady in way of marriage. That means he cannot marry anyone. Therefore be advised, therefore be careful. Or okay, so you have to take all this into consideration. So consider this carefully. That's what Portia tells Morocco, no, will not. Okay, so Morocco, he is so sure that he says, no, will not, no, no, I will not. That means he says that if he chooses a wrong casket, he will not marry. Come, bring me unto my chance. Okay, so he requests Portia to take him to the room where the caskets are and give him the chance to choose. Portia, first forward to the temple. After dinner, you hazard all shall be made. So for Portia tells, okay, first go to the temple. Why he was asked to go to the temple? He was asked to go to the temple to take this oath. And what is the oath about? That if he chooses the wrong casket, he will not marry any other woman. So after dinner, he can make the hazard. That's what he tells. Morocco. Good fortune then to make me blessed or cursed among men. So finally he tells, okay, he prays that may he have the good fortune. Sometimes, okay, it can, sometimes he'll be blessed or he will be the most cursed man. So he just says that good fortune then lead me to make me blessed or cursed among men. Okay, children, we have completed the first scene. Please read and read the workbook also.